Thank you, Fred. We're thrilled to partner with Microsoft, and I'm so excited to be here. I'm joined by Allison Knox, and I'll turn it over to her to get us started.
Thanks. I work in Microsoft Philanthropies, and it's great to conduct this brief demonstration of our new State Digital Equity Scorecard. I'm happy to do it with Amy Huffman, who is the Policy Director at National Digital Inclusion Alliance, or NDIA. We developed this scorecard with NDIA and the National Skills Coalition. And I just want to emphasize at the beginning that we're only scratching the surface of the information included in this scorecard. We're available for follow-up. We can help you with state equity planning, and we will have our email addresses available in the chat box, so just reach out anytime for follow-up. So with that, Amy, just thanks for being here, and can we start with you telling us about the purpose of the scorecard?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Allison. As someone who spent the last 4 years leading digital inclusion efforts in North Carolina State Broadband Office, I'm so excited to be part of an effort that helps state governments in working towards digital equity. So that's just it. The purpose of the scorecard is to support state governments as they work to achieve digital equity in their states. The scorecard does this in 3 key ways. First, it highlights how states are addressing digital equity. Second, it spotlights state best practices. And third, it provides a living tool for states to measure, review, and replicate successful efforts. As we all know, because of COVID-19, more states are embarking in digital equity than ever before. And there are more resources to do this work, especially if the Digital Equity Act, which would require all states to develop a digital equity plan, is passed by Congress as part of the infrastructure bill. The panelists will touch on this more later.
Great. Well, let's start the demo by simply looking at the homepage. What are we looking at?
So first, we define digital equity. Digital equity is a condition in which all individuals and communities have the information technology capacity needed for full participation in our society, democracy, and economy. It's necessary for civic and cultural participation, employment, lifelong learning, and access to essential services. Essentially, I think of digital equity as having 3 main components: affordable access to the internet, access to affordable devices, and basic digital skills for all. Below the definition, you'll see the digital opportunity gap data. This is based on the concept that in today's economy, more workers need at least some fundamental digital skills to be employed. The gap is between how many current jobs require digital skills and how many unemployed workers lack these foundational digital skills. We quickly realized there wasn't adequate timely data quantifying the number of jobs in each state requiring digital skills, so we turned to Dr. Prasanna Tambe, professor at University of Pennsylvania, for his analysis based upon current job openings, Bureau of Labor Statistics data, and other prior research done in the field. He found that 6.9 million of today's roughly 9 million job openings, or 75%, require digital skills. And those are just the skills that you need in the job. That doesn't even count what it takes to get to the job.
Yeah, so for those people who don't have digital skills, they're going to have a really hard time competing in today's job market. And I just want to add that the Dr. Tambe's data is consistent with what we're seeing through LinkedIn job postings, where a significant number of jobs require digital skills. And then, Amy, I see 2 red buttons: choose a state, choose an indicator. Where do we go next?
Let's click choose an indicator. Here you'll see that there's 6 indicators on the left side of the page that help break down states' work towards digital equity. The first 5 indicators relate to digital skills. Allison, I know Microsoft has been working a long time to ensure more people gain access to these skills. Could you walk us through these first 5 indicators?
Absolutely. I'm going to do it as briefly as possible. The first one is looking at whether or not states collect data on digital skills. And so we found that a lot of states do a great job of looking at digital skills and digital occupations when they're looking at the technology fields. But the question really came into play of the states who measure digital skill needs across all occupations. So only a handful of states provide these insights. And we highlighted Arkansas, Indiana, and Pennsylvania as examples of providing this information, as well as doing so in a user-friendly way. So one of the things that the map is particularly good at, I think, is it takes you directly to more information about the specific initiatives underway in the states. And as an example, here's some of the data that Indiana provides. Next, we look at whether or not a state developed a comprehensive plan to address digital skill gaps. We found that states are addressing these gaps, of course, in very different ways, but we highlight New Mexico, Colorado, and California as providing us with some of the best emerging practices in this particular area. The third indicator reviews if a state provides free, user-friendly online digital skills training. It's pretty exciting to see how many states are making free or low-cost digital skills training available through their public workforce websites or libraries, community colleges, and of course through public-private partnerships. In fact, some of the states, particularly through Onward US, feature Microsoft's currently free online training program found at opportunity.linkedin.com. The fourth indicator is about incumbent worker training funds. Many of our states offer incumbent worker training. However, the scorecard reflects recent data compiled from a National Skills Coalition study, highlighting that less than half of states allow these funds to be used for digital skills training. We hope that all states will make this an allowable activity. The fifth indicator is focused on technology apprenticeships. I think many of us know that apprenticeships are widely viewed as one of the most effective ways to deliver relevant training, and the scorecard shows how nearly all the states are adding this new and innovative approach to training. We highlight California and Washington states as having best emerging practices in this area. Now that we focused on states' works on digital skills, time to turn to the state's broadband plans, the final and sixth indicator, which has many sub-indicators. Amy, can you walk us through this one?
Absolutely. So the state broadband plan indicator has 6 sub-indicators. Over the past few years, nearly all states have created state broadband plans, and we found that these plans provide insight into the extent to which states focus on digital equity, and they provide a useful tool for comparing states in this area. In reviewing these plans, we looked at 6 specific aspects, and those are the 6 sub-indicators. So first, does the plans pay special attention to marginalized and the most disadvantaged populations? Second, does the plan address the need for market rate and low-income affordability? Third, does the plan address increasing device accessibility or ownership for households? Fourth, does the plan address digital skills and digital literacy opportunities and needs? Fifth, does the plan address the need for specific individual support like digital navigation or technical assistance? And sixth, does the plan recommend funding for local digital inclusion programs? California's California for All state broadband plan is an example of a state that meets the criteria in all 6 areas and categories.
Okay, so let's quickly consider the state-by-state view. This view of the information quantifies the digital skills gap for each state and assigns a score based on the state's performance across all indicators. There are more details in the methods section about the scores. No question, this is a great deal of information. So Amy, who do you recommend should use this site?
I think everyone should, but especially policymakers at the federal, state, and local levels, community advocates, workforce leaders, business groups, state government agencies, even the media, to better understand the landscape of digital equity and digital inclusion.
Great. And where do you recommend we go from here?
First, we'd love for you to explore the scorecard, click around, play with it, see what it has, compare your state to other states, and find out more information. Second, technology and digital inclusion are constantly changing. And so this tool will adapt with new information and state initiatives as we go. This scorecard really is a great opportunity for states to learn from each other and gain best practices and information from each other. So we encourage you to use it to that end. But I do want to reiterate that this is the first version. Here is where you can tell us what should go in future versions or if we missed any content in your state. So please fill out this form if you find anything. We're working currently on a digital equity framework for states, and we'll release that soon. And finally, thank you for being here. Thank you for your time today and the work that you all do to address digital equity. And thanks to you, Fred. Now I'll turn it back over to you.